ginger snaps. So today I thought I'd go over one of the subjects that I find most difficult to remember stuff for, and I know that others do as well, which is the Cold War for Edexcel A history, because there's a lot to remember. So I thought maybe I'd try and help you guys remember stuff, like how I remember things, and also go over how I revise it. So I've got this book that I showed you in my last video called GCSE History. It's Edexcel A, Making of the Modern World, because that's the course that I'm doing. If you're not doing this course, then obviously it's pretty pointless for you to do like anything, like basically pointless in you watching this video. But I know that a lot of you are, so this one, and there's a whole set. We have it split up obviously into Key Topic 1, Key Topic 2 and Key Topic 3, and in this book it splits it up the same way, so that's really helpful. So say if you're struggling on Key Topic 1, then I can go to the right page, and I think this is Key Topic 1. Yeah, and it's got a little revision summary with all the questions on. And I like doing these. I've done these once so far. Sorry, I thought I'd move a bit closer. That's better. And I've done all 3 key topics, and I've answered them on slide paper. And I've done key topic 1 answered in pink. Then I did key topic 2 answered in purple, and key topic 3 Key topic 3 answered in blue, because I like working in colours because it's just easier to like remember stuff. So, also, there's flashcards that I've made. I've made quite a few of these. Oh, that's solid. These flashcards, and I've basically just gone through the quizzes that are in this book here. I just showed you, and put them into flashcards. So I've got communism on one, and then on the other side I've got the definition of political and economic system in which everyone is equal, and then capitalism, which is economic system based on private ownership and profit. So I've basically got this throughout. 1960 was the Paris Summit. And I've got little pictures on the front to help me remember the presidents at the time. So this one's got a guy that's supposed to look a bit like Einstein and a flower. That helps me remember that during the Paris Summit it was Eisenhower that was the president. And then also I've got a hand crushing something and a frying pan. So that's Crush Chef, which helps me remember Khrushchev. I don't know why, it just does. See if I've got any other ones. Nope. Camp David was also Eisenhower and Khrushchev. So was the Geneva Summit. The Berlin Ultimatum, which was basically get out in 6 months or else, in 1958, which basically was the cause of the Berlin Wall being built. That was Khrushchev. Oh, I know that because I've got a little sign on my flashcards. Oh, and also, I've got something that, for most people this won't help, but for anyone who goes to my school, this will help. The Berlin Wall, because that's to do with Kennedy. There's a teacher at our school called Miss Kennedy. So basically I got a little picture of her. She's got ginger hair and she's a PE teacher, so that's why I've got a little picture of a ginger person playing a football. Space race, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and in 1952, America tested the hydrogen bomb, and I've got a little guy that says "No lies" and USA. So that means Truman was the one who did the hydrogen bomb, because sorry, stupid laptop making noises. No lies, true. So true man. Let's see, what else? Warsaw Pact was Khrushchev. For some of them, I literally had like no idea how to draw. For Gorbachev, I've literally just written on the top Gorbachev because there's not really it's actually Gorbachev, but so I remember I say Gorbachev. Otherwise, I'm going to end up spelling it OV when it's EV. I don't think there's much else on my flashcards. Oh, and then for the Evil Empire, which was a speech in 1982 made by Ronald Reagan, I've basically just drawn a little satellite with lasers coming out of it, because that's basically what the Evil Empire speech was about. It was about SDI, which was the Satellite Defense Initiative. Yeah. Or it's also known as Star Wars. And this is basically, that's what it talked about. And also it called Russia the Evil Empire, which is also how I remember which side belongs to which side of Germany, I mean. So the east side belongs to the Evil Empire, which is the Soviet Union, and obviously then the west side must belong to the USA because there's no one else who it could belong to. What other like little things? Oh, Glasnost and Perestroika, which happened in Key Topic 3. Glasnost is the new sense of openness, and then Perestroika is to do with restructuring the economy. And because Perestroika is very, very similar to the word penny, that's how I remember that it's true of economy, because penny, money, is to do with the economy. What else is there? What's it after? The Berlin blockade in Key Topic 1. Stalin and I think it's, hang on, let me just have a look at my Key Topic 1 quiz here. Oh, I don't know, but after the Berlin blockade anyway, the USA and the USR basically come up with new names for their sides of Germany. So how I remember that the east side is then called the German Democratic Republic is, I know it's harsh, but because they're the evil empire, they are dicks or dickheads or douches or whatever you want to remember, whatever insult you want to remember that begins with D, you can remember that they are the German Democratic Republic. And then the west side, which belongs to the USA, is the German Federal Republic. If you remember the FBI, then you can remember that. Or if you just remember one, then you're obviously going to remember the other one must be the other name. You can remember what both the names are, obviously. Example. Oh, also, BBC Bite Size. They don't have history on the app, which is annoying, but on the actual website they do have quizzes, and I answer them either on the website or print off the quiz just normally and then answer them. But if you answer them on the website, then you get the answers. So I've done one on the events of the Cuban Missile Crisis here. I don't know if you can see it. There you go, that's it. And then I've printed it off after I've got the answers as well. So afterwards you've got the answers and that happens. And then I highlight the ones that I got wrong. So on this one I got 8 out of 10. And the ones that I got wrong was what happened on the 23rd of October. I said the first Russian ship reached the American naval blockade. But what actually happened was Khrushchev announced that missile sites were solely for defence. And I also said that on the 24th of November, Kennedy warned a full retaliatory response if a missile was launched from Cuba. But what actually happened was that Kennedy announced a fitting reply to the aggressor. No, sorry, not Kennedy. Khrushchev announced a fitting reply to the aggressor if America continued with the blockade, which basically threatened a nuclear war. Which, that's always great, but it's not. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about that because obviously I don't really need to know definite. That's helpful. What happened on what day precisely. I just need to know that it happened, sort of thing. I'm just trying to find my thing in my folder that tells me how to answer my questions. I can't remember how many marks they are, but it's break them down into causes, events, and consequences. So the causes of the Cuban Missile Crisis was the ICBMs, which is the intercontinental ballistic missiles, the Soviet technology developments, so Sputnik 1, which was a satellite that went up into space, mass production of ICBMs in America, first man in space, first man on the moon. First man in space was Yuri Gagarin. I don't know how you say his last name, but that's how I say it because it helps me remember that Gagarin, that's how you spell it, so that's how I say it. And then the first man on the moon, obviously Neil Armstrong from the USA in 1969. Berlin Wall being built, Castro overthrowing Batista, and all of the Bay of Pigs, which was the America trying to mask assassinating Castro, who was the guy who overthrew Batista, Cuba this is in, masking the assassination by pretending they're rebels. Here, I've got my information here. Rebels were met. There weren't many rebels, but they were met by 2,000 members of the Cuban army and wiped out in 2 days because Kennedy didn't send the air support that he promised and Castro knew about it all. So, sorry, it was pretty pointless. So that's the causes of it. And then the events were the 13 days. And I've pretty much just written out what was on this thing. I just showed you that little quiz thing from BBC Bite Size. So Kennedy finds out about missiles in Cuba via his U-2 spy plane. And then he thought, I'm just going to blockade it with some naval ships. Why not? And then he announces publicly that they are going to blockade Soviet boats and warn them to turn around. It doesn't really work because Khrushchev sends him a telegram saying, I'm not going to turn my ships around, basically. And then sorry about that, just got a message. Goodness sake. Anyway, Khrushchev threatens to use nuclear weapons. If USA tries to go war with them, because he says he will use a fitting reply to the aggressor, which is what I just said over there, but and then they're both preparing for a war, but then Kennedy was like, actually, I don't really want a war. I'm just gonna say, why don't you remove your missiles from Cuba? And then obviously, because Khrushchev doesn't want a war either, he says, well, if I remove my missiles, just don't go to war with Cuba. And then Khrushchev hears that Kennedy is planning to attack Cuba, even though he promised not to. So he sends he basically calls him up again and it's like, mate, what are you doing? At this point, he hasn't actually removed the missiles yet. So he goes, why don't you take your missiles from Turkey and don't invade Cuba? And then, I'll just leave you to it and take mine out of Cuba. And then Robert Kennedy, who's JFK's brother, decides that that's a good idea, but maybe they should keep the deal quiet. So they make the deal because neither side wanted to have a nuclear war, basically. And then the consequences of that, of the Cuban Missile Crisis, the telephone hotline bling, is set up. This is like a symbol of détente. France leave NATO because they're like, sheesh, that was close. I don't want that happening because obviously they haven't got enough money and stuff at the moment to have a nuclear war. So they're like, I don't want to be involved in one. So they leave NATO. And also MAD is set up, which is mutually assured destruction, which basically means they're never going to use their weapons. The threat is enough. So I've done that. That was because we did our mock was on Key Topic 2, and obviously the Cuban Missile Crisis is a major part of Key Topic 2. Also, let me just hang on. Most of it will be in my exercise book. So to answer A, that's not helpful. Oh, there we go. The first question is generally a 2-mark question, which is literally one developed statement. And then there's a 6-mark question, which is 3 developed statements. And that's not the whole thing. That's helpful. There's also a 12-mark question, which is 3 developed reasons, but it's usually a why did this happen? That are linked, and then you prioritise at the end, but I don't think that's right. So I'm just going to check through my book quickly. Where's my past papers? Sorry, this is just going to be a minute. Here's one. Okay, so I've got a 13-mark question here. That I did for practice, and basically you explain it, prioritize and link and back up with detailed facts. And on this practice one that I did, I got 8 out of 12, but that's because I didn't use very good words. It's better if you order it chronologically as well, because then it's easier for the examiner to read through and be like, yep, that happened, good, you got that, oh, and that, oh, and that. And usually with a 13-mark question, you'll get like bits like this, beginning. So if you don't use those 2 and another one, that will basically get you the marks. Oh, hang on. Here we go. This is what I need. Exam skills breakdown is what I was looking for. Right, so for question 1, it's 2 marks. And you give 2 reasons from source A which show. Apparently. Or, no, that's what I say. Well, that's question 2. Question 2 is 4 marks. You spend 6 minutes on that. The first one you spend 3 minutes on, by the way. Because it's half a minute per mark, apparently. I think it says. It says a minute plus half. It says m plus half m equals t. I don't know what that means. Oh no. Oh, I don't even know. Anyway, 2 developed statements for that one. And then question 3 is a 10 mark. So you use nature or this is the sources question. So you use nature, origin, purpose, and limitations, which NOPL. So you basically discuss the information it gives you, and then nature, origin, purpose, and limitations here. So like what's it? So say if it's a newspaper article from 1952, but it's about what happened at the Tehran conference, then your nature is a newspaper article. Origin, so who wrote it, when, so the Times, Barack Obama, that doesn't even make any sense, John Smith, whatever, 1952, or whatever I just said. And then purpose, why was it written? So you could think about like, is it biased, blah, blah, blah. And then limitations, well, it was written in 1952, but the Tehran conference was in 1943, so it's not from the time, so it's not very reliable, blah, blah, blah. Question 4 is a 6-mark question, and 2 developed descriptions or explanations depending on the question. So you just spend about 9 minutes on that one and 15 minutes on question 3, which I forgot to say. I think I might photocopy this and then put it up in a minute when I finish talking. God, I thought that wasn't recording for a second then. I had a bit of a panic. Question 5 is a 15-mark question. Shut up! And basically you need to, it says most of them are like, describe the importance of 3 of the following events in the international relations. So that is not like that one I just showed you. And you basically explain the that is of course, that's wherever I put it, that's what you would do this for. You break it up into 3 paragraphs. Each paragraph is meant to be about 5 marks. So cause, consequence, effect. Or, no, sorry. This one's, that's a slightly different one, but it's kind of similar. So you do 1 paragraph per event, but you can split the events up into cause, consequence, effect paragraphs if you want, or you can just squish them into 1 paragraph. So you have like 3 sections, sort of like PEE, point, evidence, explain, in each paragraph. And then question 6, that's a 13-mark question plus 3 more spag, so that's basically 16 marks. And that's explain why. So you need 3 causes of an event, prioritise and link, and back up your explanation with detailed facts. So that's like basically 3 of these note sheets, but in obviously sentence form. That's one of these questions here I just showed you. So explain why relations between the USA and the Soviet Union grew worse in the period 1945 to 1948. So you make sure you do it chronologically, because then it's easier for the reader to understand, like I just said. And on here you've got capitalism. You may use the following in your answer: capitalism and communism and the Berlin blockade. I also talked about the Potsdam Conference. Because that happens in 1945, you can either do that after capitalism and communism or before that, but make sure you do it before the Berlin blockade, because obviously that's in 48, so it's a bit different to everything else. I think that's pretty much it for the Cold War. If you want me to do another specialised video like this, either comment on the link that I share on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, or just comment on the video and tell me what. I'm thinking about doing a Nazi Germany one, because I've got lots of little mnemonics and things for that. Or I don't really know what else I do, because I might just do a structure one as well. But then obviously it's different structures for different subjects. But basically for most exam structures, if you're doing essay questions, it's PE, which is point, evidence, explain. But for my English, our teacher teaches us to do PEE, which is point, evidence, explain, evaluate, and explore. So it just gets you to write a little bit more in your paragraph. So you basically put Hill shows that Kipps is scared in this quote. This shows that the fear is real because of something or other. And then you say, this gives a certain effect on the reader. Hill did this because, however, Hill may have done this because. And then it just sort of expands your answer and makes it more insightful rather than just exploratory, which is the words they use in their mark scheme. Anyway, sorry about that little side note there. It just saves me doing a whole video that could have lasted 20 minutes, me just yabbering on, and shorten this down to 2 minutes at the end of another video. I might do that Germany one next week, because that's important, but no, I don't think I'm going to be uploading actually. No, hang on, let me just think. What's the date next week? I'm just going to have a look at my calendar. Yeah, next Sunday is 2 days before my exam, so I don't know if I'm going to be filming on the Friday. I film on Friday and upload on either Saturday night or Sunday morning, depending on my schedule, etc. But yeah, so what was I saying? I'm such an idiot. I can't even think today. So whether or not I upload that video depends on my mood on the Friday about my biology exam, because it's my actual exam and that's a bit scary. So basically, depending on my mood, whether you get a Nazi Germany breakdown like I just did for Cold War or not. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, blah 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 blah. Bye.